Welcome back to Ales and Fails Miniatures. Today I will be going over the new Warlock tiles. This is the display and demo kit. I actually got this with my purchase of the Remoraz that I did a video on a few weeks ago. It was something they were doing on their website, but I'm pretty excited to see these new tiles. It look like they changed quite a bit, so let's get into it. Alright, let's get this thing open. And so it looks like it comes with two singular doors, a singular double dungeon door, 2 windows, and a couple other just normal basic pieces here. So I'm going to get this built and we'll be right back with you. Alright, now we've got it put together for you. I will say right off the bat, one thing I do love about the Warlock tiles is once they're together, they stay together pretty well. I mean, you can pick the whole thing up. I really like Dwarven Forge, but that is one downfall. Obviously, you usually build them on a metal sheet, so then you can just pick up the metal sheet. But these are very nice. The one thing with clips that I dislike is the fact that sometimes you get a little bit of wonkiness out of your walls and things like that that you can't really fix very easily. But for a much better price point than Dwarven Forge, these are probably the nicest pre-painted tile set that you can get because they are much cheaper, which is nice. They take a lot longer to put together, unfortunately, due to the fact that they are put together with small clips on each one. But overall, still really nice. One of the new things that they added here was thin walls, which I don't think I've ever seen this before. I have a decent amount of Warlock tile sets, and these thin walls are really nice. It makes it to where it takes up a lot less room when you're building interior walls, because most of the sets, including Dwarven Forge, it's really hard to build small rooms. I mean, you gotta think, a 10-foot by 10-foot room is pretty normal in a house or, you know, especially in old school taverns, things like that. So the fact that now we actually have some very thin walls that just click right between the two sets of tiles is really nice. I really, really enjoy that factor, and all the doors still work for even the thin walls. The biggest thing that they've done here is shrunken down the height of the walls. Dwarven Forge is normal height walls, you know, the same height as doors and windows. Same with all of the other Warlock tile sets I have. They have shrunken them down, and the reason why is so that when you are playing and you have somebody sitting across the table, you can put a humanoid miniature in there and you can actually see it over the walls. The walls aren't blocking field of view, which is really nice sometimes. I personally think I like the taller walls just because most of the time I'm going to have it dropped down into a table or, you know, sitting lower than the party to where it's not going to come into play very often. And I think it just feels more real. When you have half walls, I feel like it feels more like a blueprint compared to an actual building or scene. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is nice to have here and there for sure, especially if you have like an upstairs. If this was an upstairs and I had a floor below it, I would actually really like this, which I didn't think about until just now. That's really actually nice. If you use this as an upstairs and then you build full walls for a downstairs, then you can just take this right off of the building and now you have your full wall downstairs. So that's pretty nice. The other thing that I have noticed with these is they just, again, they're a little bit, they aren't painted as well as Dwarven Forge, but again, for a very basic set of tiles, and the fact that you can always go back and repaint them, it's not that big of a deal, because they gave you a very nice base to start with, and then you can go back and add some texture, add some dry brushing, whatever you really want to, and it does make it look nice. I think part of the issue is with their dungeon tiles, they're very glossy. Even a matte paint over it would actually help a lot, and then maybe just a couple of, you know, green washes or different brown washes and black washes just to make it look not so generic and plain, because it's basically just painted gray, dry brush, and a wash, and that's it. So this set's pretty cool. Again, I believe this is what they're maybe switching to. So I am pretty excited about it because I'm going to use it as upper floors compared to the lower floors. I'm going to use all my older stuff for lower floors and then start using these for uppers. But the upsides of this is their wood is insane. Dwarven Forge, I don't believe, has a whole lot of wood flooring, or any for that factor. I haven't looked in a while, so I'm not sure what they've been coming out with recently. And Dwarven Forge is beyond expensive, so this is much more for the generic person, the, you know, ones that can't afford to spend thousands of dollars on Dwarven Forge. But I bought WizKid, or the Warlock tile set, because of the fact that they had the wood flooring. I like it for in a tavern, things of those sorts, and their Tudor style walls actually look extremely nice as well. So I think this is one of the nicer sets for just, again, the correct price point. And another thing I like about this that Dwarven Forge does not do a whole lot is they have corner pieces, specifically to fill in the gap when you put two walls together with a floor piece. You actually have nice corner pillars that fill in those areas, and they match perfectly to the normal walls. They did a great job on this, and I'm excited to see this new set coming out. I really want to see what sets they're coming out with, because it should be a lot of fun to see that. But overall, for this just being a basic little demo set, I like it. It kind of just feels like a basic house, and you can do a lot with that, so I really enjoy this. All right, and the other thing I really like about the Warlock tiles compared to something like Dwarven Forge is these tiles are reversible. So on the top or bottom, whichever one you want to say, one side is stone and the other side is wood. So if you want a stone base, you just flip the tiles over. If you want a wood base, then you flip it to the wood side. So that's really nice. It just gives more diversity there as well. And again, it makes it to where you don't have to buy as many tiles. You have to only get these, and you can use them as dungeon tiles and tavern tiles. So that's pretty cool. It really, again, really is a great set. Not my favorite with the short walls, but using it as a upper floor, it can just be a really cool aspect. So really excited to put these into game, and hopefully I can get back to you guys on that once I actually start playing a little bit more with the Warlock tile sets. I've been still playing with a lot of Dwarven Forge, but I am excited to get into some of these, especially again with this being able to be an upper floor. And again, it's nice that you can pick it up and just move it, rather than with Dwarven Forge actually having to have a metal plate under your upper floors. So I really enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you guys anything, and it really does help out our channel. Just makes it to where I can keep doing this, which I would really like to do. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will catch you in the next one. Cheers.